Welcome to the brave new world of corporate socialism. I use the word socialism because I know how much it bothers you. Let's look at the facts. The facts are we've got these large banks that have massive amounts of debt they can't repay. These mortgages are debts. And if the people can't pay their mortgages, these instruments are no good. They represent debt that these banks cannot repay. What the government has done is it's stepped in and say, don't worry about all that bad debt. We are going to take all that debt off your hands. Okay? So the government is taking all the debt and transferring that debt from these failed corporations to the taxpayers. So what is essentially going to happen is we're going to have a transfer of debt from these corporations to the taxpayer. We're going to be adding trillions of dollars to the federal debt. It's going to increase the amount of interest we have to pay, as well as the amount of principal we have to pay back eventually. I won't argue that we shouldn't bail out these banks. I think because of their size and their importance, if we were to allow these banks to fail, it would result in a complete meltdown, a complete financial collapse, and what we would see is capital flight as people began to lose all faith in our financial system. We have to save these institutions. Otherwise, the results would be far, far worse. We are stopping the capital flight, which would be just horrendous. We have to keep capital within our system. For that, we need to save these institutions. Absolutely critical that we do this. But there are lessons to be learned. There are lessons to be learned. Number one is that the free market does not produce the best of all possible results. This market failure is because everything in the financial system was privatized and is very poorly regulated, if it was regulated at all. First of all, I think that private insurance is just a scam. I would be very much in favor of doing away with this private insurance for mortgages. I think it's just horrendous because it wasn't backed by capital, and the market bubble caused it to fail, and the insurer of last result is always the taxpayer. Well, if that's going to be the case, I say if they have to pay premiums for insurance, they should be paying the taxpayer. We should be getting our money back for bailing these people out. Okay, if there's insurance to be paid, then they should pay the taxpayer, not these private insurance companies who give bonuses to their CEOs and fold immediately when a market bubble arises. Okay, they're no good. They're absolutely useless. So we should get rid of private insurance within the financial industry. We should have the government insure everything. And that should be paid with one way or another, maybe fees, maybe taxes, or something that makes sure that the taxpayer is compensated for the risk we are bearing, the risk that we will need to bail out these financial institutions. The other thing is that, you say, well, they're too big to fail. Well, it's true that these banks are very big, and of course we're going to save them because they're big. They're too big to fail individually, but also collectively. The problem is with the market bubble, they all fail at the same time. So even if we had all small banks, what happened in the Great Depression, what would have happened here is that the market bubble causes a ripple effect, and eventually all banks fail. All right, it doesn't matter how big or how small they are; they all get hit with the market bubble, and it affects everyone. All right, and it's this risky behavior. It's this phony insurance that causes the market bubble, and that is the thing that has to stop. If it's going to be insured by the government, then we're going to have to demand regulations to regulate how much risk we allow people to take. Right? That's a lesson we learned during the Great Depression, and Reagan came along and forgot everything. All right, he forgot everything. So now we've got corporate socialism. Congratulations, we've now bailed out all these private companies for failing. That's their reward. All right. And the point Naomi Klein made, and something to consider, is that we've bailed out these institutions. We have to help people now too. Do you understand? All right. If McCain gets into office, he's going to try and reason that, well, we've got all these other expenses. We have to cut social programs now. We have to cut social programs. That's still trickle down. It's still not getting it. The economy is a balance between trickle down and bubble up. If you're not helping the low guy, you are undermining the economy. And that's what happened here. The economy was undermined. We have to help the little guy if we want the economy to succeed. That's another lesson we learned during the Great Depression. Another lesson completely lost on the Reagan Revolution. So I hope you're paying attention this time, and I hope maybe you've learned your lesson. So that's all for now.